I suppose it's called feel free because I'm at that stage now, I'm 42, where you can feel a bit cramped in your life. I've got young kids who take up all my time, and my parents, well, my mother died and my dad has been ill for a while, and so you can feel a bit unfree. And I think the book tries to explore different ways in which one can sort of cope with that. So there's different kinds of forms in it. There's formal poems and free verse, and those are also forms of freedom and constraint. So it sort of felt like the right title. I've been working towards that title, I think, for the last few years, and writing poems sort of into that title or that idea of freedom and constraint. So usually at night I'll go back and open the files and see what I've got in the poems that need work, and skip about between them, and try and extrapolate something up, and see whether it has any life. I think you just have to be kind of alert during the day when you're going about your business, teaching, or I write fiction and screenplays and other stuff. But just keep one sort of ear open to something interesting going on in the world around you, and that's the stuff that becomes a poem eventually, if you're lucky. You do kind of know when it's finished now. I think sometimes I've definitely ruined poems by keeping at them, but I save different versions of the files, and sometimes I'll end up going back a step and think, oh, that was the sweet spot. Usually it's sort of clicked into place, like it's a kind of puzzle or a jigsaw, and suddenly you hear it all. And I do think in a way, like, the poets who sort of do well are the ones who sit there the extra hour. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a marathon, really. Some of the shorter poems come in a burst, and you write it down on the back of an envelope and the thing is done. But God, that happens once every 4 years, and most of the time it's a slog, and you just keep going until it seems kind of right. So you try and listen to the thing, and I have some weird sort of habits where I'll write it initially in pen, and then I'll move to the computer, and then when it seems like it's finished, I go back to writing it out in pen. Something different happens, the way you hear things when you actually put it to paper, with your own hand, making it appear on the page. So all that stuff, and then you sort of sit on it for a while, and then 6 months later you look at it and think, what was I thinking? That's dreadful. So you have to do it again, but eventually the thing seems finished, yeah.